Hey, you guys, you're going to want to listen all the way through to this episode because we are going back to our favorite decade where not only was there no social media, but if you came out as a member of a boy band, you got a gift basket.
We're also going to find out why goat yoga is so important these days, especially if you want one as a pet.
Yeah, you would know about it. And Sharon, do you know who Freddie the Frog is?
Never heard of her.
So Kelly, you'll tell us about it?
Yes.
Because I don't know either. Enjoy the show, everyone.
90s Now with Kelly Alexander and Sharon Hyland.
Greetings and salutations, y'all.
We're always smiling. Woo!
It's like Kelly Clarkson's here, y'all.
It's true. My bad, y'all. Yeah, we're always smiling. That is the unwritten promise of this show. Still happening, always smiling.
Yeah.
Kelly, Adam, nice to see you. Nice to hear you. Thank you, everybody, for plugging in. We have got all kinds of 90s and all kinds of now, all rolled into one in some cases when you think of how Vanna White got a sneak peek at her new co-host in action. So we'll talk about that exchange and that we won't have to wait too long or that long for the return of one of Apple TV's now greatest hits. Mm-hmm. Also, we're going to level up on our arts game thanks to one queen. We'll go to we'll go to the trivia queen as Kelly will put us to the test. I don't even know what to say about it, but I will say this. I don't know what to say, but I will say something. That when it comes to your 90s rewind, Kelly, I can promise that there will be a Janet Jackson reference within that. So maybe that will impact positively our experience with your trivia.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, be gentle with us.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
You guys are screwed this week. Anyways.
Cut to the chase, Kel.
Yeah. Also, we do have a little, maybe as you approach or when you finish your Janet moment later, there's another Janet moment to quickly discuss. So,
ooh, fair enough. All right, well, we'll get to that and talk about which boy band got the welcome basket he never knew he wanted so badly from an OG queen. I figure we should start there. Because we're talking about Lance Bass from NSYNC and how it's been just about 18 years that he came out to the world. Came out and announced his truth. And when you think about the calculation of 18 years, and we have done this math on this show before, so we don't have to do it again. We think about the access to social media and the internet and stuff like that. It wasn't as strong as it is today. And 18 years ago isn't that long ago. But still, there was some element or some modicum of privacy still. Yeah. So you made an announcement like that. It was intentional. It was you controlling your narrative. And that was what Lance Bass attempted to do. But when you consider an OG queen like Elton John, you're going to get a gift basket. And it's going to be fantastic.
I love this.
No kidding. Now, Lance Bass talks about the fact that there were rumors, of course, about what was going on in his personal life. But because of the lack of social media as a presence, nobody was taking pictures everywhere you went, he said. So it was kind of easy for him to live his private life privately. He did have a boyfriend. He had a circle of friends that knew about him. And he didn't think that his sexuality was a big deal. Elton John begged to differ. Probably not. I think that Elton's approach was likely more in the way of, don't worry about it, we got you, you know?
Yeah.
So
class act.
I love that story.
Yeah. And also, because you said 2006, right, when he came out, so Facebook wasn't even out yet.
Right.
No.
Definitely not Instagram, none of that. So
you were either social or you were looking at the media. You weren't doing both.
Wow.
I think that's the best explanation of social media I've ever heard. So
I love this.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Yeah. That might be our clip of the week.
Well, you're welcome then.
Yeah. But it's also about Elton. I just think, like you said, it's like he had Lance's back. And because I know Lance was nervous about, obviously, like, because he'd been told that this might wreck his career, I think, in the past. So to come out at that point and just, let his truth be there and know that
be himself.
Yeah, be himself. I think that's, and also I feel like Elton knew he's probably super scared right now. Let me help him feel like it's
For
all
sure.
good.
For sure.
Is Lance today still with the guy he was with when he came out?
No.
Or is that no? Okay.
No, he's with his husband, Michael.
Yep.
And they have 2 kids, twins, Alexander and Violet, I think.
Wow.
And they're already like 2, the kids. So
Wow.
And I watched Lance's wedding to Michael. They had it on like TLC or one of these. He did a special like where he had cameras there, and it was an amazing ceremony. You can probably find it now on YouTube, but it was really sweet to watch. I think it was 2015 or 2016. It's been a while since they've been married. So
What's great about that is that at the beginning of this story, the origin of this story is that there was no social media. Mm-hmm. And then he was able to then take his own truth and his life and then decide who was going to, share in the most personal experiences of his life. So he gets to decide. I love that sort of the ownership of that. Mm-hmm. I do love it.
I do.
I do have strong feelings for it.
I remember at the time thinking he was, he was brave. Like because I didn't come out on air like till way later than that. And
same.
Yeah,
he was 26 when he came out because he's 44 today.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And I just remember and even when Ellen did it back in the 90s, when Rosie O'Donnell did it. And she alluded to it, back in 2002, I think it was, but never fully, but called herself Lesbanese or something on her show with Ellen. So yeah, it was just like, I remember thinking Lance was very brave and it's in a way, like you look back and it's so silly that there had to be a magazine cover,
Well, that it makes it easier for other people. Now, there's pluses and minuses. The minus is that it's none of anybody's business who is what or why or with whom or whatever. It's private life, right? Mm-hmm. So they're entitled to their privacy. The positive from coming out, in my opinion, is that you can set an example for somebody who might be struggling.
Yep.
And sort of show yourself as being brave and look, I can do it, you can do it. That kind of that's one fraction of, many other fractions of positivity that might provide a source of inspiration for a bunch of people who may otherwise be scared.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because when I decided to do it, it was only because I was so sick of like using ambiguous terms, on air. Yeah, they, like my significant other, my better half, like stuff like that. And it's not that you want to overshare on the air, but because you do have a relationship with your audience, and for all of us, we've been on our stations so like very long time, and so it just felt like it was. I felt boxed in a way, and then it was our morning show man at the time, and he's like, I think we should just do this, and he's like, let's not make a big deal. We're just going to use the pronouns. And that's how we did. So I didn't come on the air, I'm gay. Like jazz hands and spirit fingers.
You could have.
I could have. But what was really great is we just framed it around the fact that I had got engaged. And that.
Right.
And so the excitement was more about that. And I remember just being so relieved when we got such amazing text messages coming in, just congratulating me. And that was it. And I remember like years later, I talked about that when I was doing like a speech for like Pride festivities at a high school, and I was telling my story and how I was so scared to come out and like on the air because I was so afraid of like losing my listeners and also being pigeonholed as like, oh, that's the gay girl. Like I just wanted to be Kelly the announcer, not Kelly the gay girl
for sure.
And of course, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I didn't want that. So I just wanted to be a regular person, with like no special things. Anyways, all that to say is I remember telling the story, and this had now been years since I had come out on air. I got emotional with the kids.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I didn't plan on it, but then I guess because I was remembering back like how, I don't think I realized how scared I was thinking that I might not be accepted by our audience.
Well, you know what? You go in thinking, oh, it doesn't matter what people think, but it totally matters. Like you want to have some level of acceptance. It somehow is at the root of all of us. I didn't come out on the air for years, and it might have been even just before COVID.
Yeah.
Wow.
It might have just been then, and it wasn't like I was hiding anything because I talked about it that I got married, and I talked I think I referred to Deb. I didn't make an official announcement. I think like you, Kelly, I just started speaking, not guarded. And for the most part, I don't think that I hid anything throughout my career. I did say that I did stuff and here, we did this and we did that and that kind of thing. But I never made it about me anyways. So anything that I was talking about was always sort of flipped to the listener and their experience anyways. So it never seemed like I had to actively not say something.
Yeah.
But people are fine. And you know what? Even if you're honest, there's always going to be someone that has a problem with you, whether you want them to or not. And it, often has nothing to do with your private life. It often has more to do with their short-sightedness. So,
yeah. And them hanging out in their mother's basement.
Exactly. They haven't left home in years.
90s now.
Trivia.
Bing bong.
That might just be the clip of the week, maybe. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, so let us start with, one of them is just going to be you guys guessing a year, so we'll leave that for the second one.
Well, we can make an educated guess, right?
You can.
Yes.
You can.
We can call it that and sound smarter when we do.
So we'll start with the sporting card, which will require an actual name from you guys. So, and remember, as we discussed, they use words and exclamation marks randomly in these things. So the questions. So question number 1, which bangin' 90s boxer was known as the Dark Destroyer?
Sharon.
Go, Sharon.
Evander Holyfield.
Oh, that's a solid guess.
I
means
was
wrong
exactly going to guess that. Oh,
Well, it's a good thing you guessed
no.
something else, Adam, because she was wrong.
well, I'll go for the one that bit his ear. I'll go for Mike Tyson.
Oh, also a good answer, but no. I've never heard of this boxer, so maybe you two have. Nigel Benn, Benn.
I think that you should know more.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this boxer. I think
Okay,
you should have
so-
studied.
Is he British?
He was British.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
He held world championships in 2 weight classes, including the WBO middleweight title in 1990 and the WBC super middleweight from 1992 to 1996.
that's the pudgier side of middleweight. He's put on a few.
He ate too many Joe Louise.
Oh,
And he is 60 years old today.
Oh my God, that's
wow,
crazy.
very good.
Well, not that it's its birthday, but
No.
you know what I mean.
Happy birthday!
Are you still boxing?
The Dark Destroyer, right?
The Dark
Wow.
Destroyer. That's a pretty cool nickname. And it's funny because I had no idea where he came from, but when I heard the word Nigel Benn, I'm like, I feel he's British. People who are British are named Nigel.
Nigel.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the second question is under hobbies, toys, and games.
Ooh.
The Game of Life released an animated CD-ROM version in which year?
Sharon.
Go, Sharon.
1991.
No.
Gah.
I'll go for my birth year, 1994.
No. And here's where I think I need Adam to do a little research because I feel like I said CD-ROM, right, in the question. So
Right.
if Adam can find out when CD-ROMs came out, I don't think before the mid-90s. So the actual year is 1998.
Boo.
Boo. But CD-ROMs, I'd love to know when CD-ROMs were first released.
Where can I find this information?
You'll find it on a floppy disk behind you. It's on that shelf.
Well, because, Wikipedia says it got released in 1985, but I feel like
really?
it might not have been, really popular in those years.
Wow, that's hilarious. Because I learned about CD-ROMs when I was in university, and that was like the latter half of the 90s. And by the way, quick sidebar story about that. I was in a media class at that point, and it was like learning new media or whatever they called it. And our teacher was crazy, like legit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where they found her. And so she was teaching us. And so the CD-ROM, I will never forget this my entire life. It was named Freddy the Frog. That was like this.
What?
It was like a game. And so she was trying to show us how CD-ROMs were made and how you can make them. So she puts it into the drive. And then she puts it in and she's like, all right, I'm going to show you guys, like whatever. But for whatever reason, it got frozen or whatever. And she's like, it's not working. And then she starts hitting her keyboard and going bananas and like slamming the mouse as if that was going to make it all better.
Wow.
And I remember looking at my friend, I'm like, why are we paying money for this class?
No kidding. She's losing it.
She's lost her marbles. Anyways.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when when I was in school for radio broadcasting, one of the forms of like the newest thing that we could save our information on was called was it a digicart?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Oh, was that the one with like the holes and like the...
Well, it was like this big. Kelly, do you remember it? It came in like a black hard case, big and cumbersome.
Yeah.
And of course, I think most of the people that are listening don't even know what I'm talking about,
But
which
what
is an
were you
indication of
storing
how
on
long.
that?
When?
Was that text you were storing on that? Was it like...
No, sound.
Oh,
Yeah,
sound.
audio.
Okay.
Yeah, and this was going to be the wave of the future, and we all had to buy one, so it was like $40 or something, which by 90 standards would be like 80 now.
Yep.
And I think I still have it, just
Yep.
to have it because it's an artifact now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have there's no machine in the world or in my world that I'd be able to play anything on it.
I
But
still
there's some
have
fine broadcast assignments on that thing.
Wow.
I still have my high 8 tapes that I was doing stuff on.
Oh,
And
yeah?
I have a few reel to reels because I was at the tail end of that. They taught us how to use reels, but like it was
Perfect.
on its way out. But I remember putting together like a project and thinking like, oh my God, I want to, because it was like slicing all the
Oh, yeah.
God.
And we used to, like, all of our assignments up until this digicart fiasco were on reels. So you would have to do, like, edit assignments and stuff like that. So you'd edit, you'd take the piece out, put it on your leg.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da, take the next piece out, put it on your leg, and don't mess up the order, or don't put it on upside down. Oh, my God. It was amazing that people didn't have more heart attacks.
Yeah.
In
I'm
broadcast.
really happy I did not get to experience that. Like, sometimes you're like, oh, I wish I was, older so I could have experienced this or that, or, you know, that I don't miss.
Yeah.
Well, there's something cool about doing the edits on a reel tape because
Nothing seems fun about it.
No, but it is. It's like, and then when you get it, you're like, yeah. When you get an edit, like that's just that no one would hear. There's a real victory in that. Similar to when you edit on a visual, like you're like, oh, that sounds really good. It's
But now
working with the tools.
You press 3 keys, you crossfade it, and it sounds even better.
Well, you see, it was because of people like us,
Yes,
little
exactly.
Adam, that allowed for this technology to evolve. Because back in my day,
Well, thank you for paving the way, Miss
That's all I
Hyde.
was
Earned our
looking
stripes.
for.
We earned our stripes.
all right, so there we are. Not smart with our trivia again, so I'm removing Janet Jackson from your 90s rewind.
But wait, I've got a question. So
Yeah.
the live CD-ROM, it was to play the game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, did they give it to you in, like, the cereal boxes? Because I've played the Game of Life CD-ROM that I got out of a cereal
Oh,
box.
yeah, I don't know. I just know, like, she put in Freddy the Frog, and she literally, like, I can't lift up my keyboard now, but I wish I could. She just literally, she's like, bang, bang. She's like, why won't it work? And she was like,
Oh
slamming her
my
keyboard.
God.
And we couldn't believe it. We're like, and I think actually that was the day that my friend and I decided to look at our tuition and figure out how much this class was actually costing us.
Wow. And we never saw that teacher again.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, let's bring it into the now section. You ready
Okay.
for it? Because some now news for fans of The Morning Show is that we won't have to wait too long at all for season 4 to arrive because it's going to premiere on Apple TV right after the U.S. election.
Oh,
Isn't that
yes.
crazy? That's crazy, right? Like, let's just get through the election so we can
Like,
watch that show.
right after they announced a new president. They're gonna,
Yeah, November.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it'll
Like
be
the day after? Or like they're going to wait for the official announcement
like
and then
later
just
that
release
month,
it?
probably.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same day because no one's going to want to watch that election.
Yeah,
And yet everybody should.
yeah. I
For
have
our
to
friends
say,
in the States, vote.
this time around, I don't know if you guys are doing this, but so I was like super obsessed in the 2016 election because of like Hillary and like all that stuff. I don't watch any of it anymore. Like, and I feel like, and it's funny because I'll hear my mother, she's like, it's terrible and it's like this and that. And I'm like, I don't need that stress because I can't change it. So
No.
You
Once
mean
Donald
election
Trump got
night,
elected the
or-
first time, that was it for me. I'm like,
yeah, well,
the
just
world is
even
on
because
its
like
ear.
even like I won't say the channel, but like I was addicted to a certain channel that was like kind of giving us updates, and I was on that all the time. I was on their website, and like I just realized I'm like I'm sure they're doing a great job, but I'm like I don't need this. Like it's not like I was anxious, like just all that stuff, and I'm like I don't need this. So I would rather be outside like riding my motorcycle like by a million miles.
I'd rather be outside running in circles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so my life is much better by not being caught up in the news cycle.
Well, that's good because the morning show does tackle the news cycle. We don't know much in the way of details. I don't think that we should spoil anything about how season 3 ended
Because I haven't seen it yet.
Well, because of that. So there you go. But we can focus on at least the part of the reason why the show is so successful to begin with, along with the interesting storylines. I think it's the team of collaborators, the actors, and of course how the actors are also on the executive producer list. When you think of the likes of Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon, who take their real life friendship and connection and make working together find, a solid group of mutually respectful people. I think that it's that friendship and the knowing each other for as many years as they have that helps create an environment where people can shine. And we know that show shines.
Yeah, and Adam, you need to watch season 3. It's amazing.
I know I have
Yeah.
to. I made it halfway through season 2, and I guess I
good.
was too busy to keep
there's-
going because the show is amazing. I have no idea. I don't recall why I stopped.
And John Hamm is in season 3 just for that reason alone. Like,
Yes,
apart
he is
from
handsome.
the amazingness that is Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston, and like the rest of the cast in that show is amazing. Like they're so great. It's just such a it's funny because there's not many shows that I will make time to watch. That's one of them. The Yellowstone universe I make time for, and like
The Yellowstone universe that you live in.
I guess
Because you live on a ranch.
yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna get me a horse because I don't have one right now, so I should find that.
Do you have any animals besides the dogs?
Yeah, so my dad has the cows. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But none of those cows live at your house, right?
No, none of those cows live at my house. Although I have to tell you, Elaine and I have been pondering. It's not going to happen now, but I would love to get us a pygmy goat.
What?
Is that a little goat?
Yeah, the little goats that they don't grow big. Like, they're so cute. I love them. They're the ones
Where
that
would
you see
where
when...
would this little goat live?
Well, we have a barn, but I would think that it would live in the house with us because they're so cute. So,
How do you
the
think your
dogs?
huskies would like that little tiny goat?
oh, they would for sure
Get
like-
it!
Yeah, they would for sure love it. Because like, if you ever just like Google goat yoga, like I want one of those little goats. Like
Those
They
little
look
bouncy things.
adorable.
they're
Yeah.
so fun, and it's and like they're feisty. Like because like I follow some on Instagram, and like I love when I get random things like suggested for you, and then it's like these two goats
yeah.
like pushing each other off the side of like whatever. It's just so
But
funny.
are they meant to be domesticated?
I don't like.
Well, if they're already teaching yoga,
they're already. Sharon, you're like clip of the week fire this week. So.
I'm exhausted. Hey, well, don't get me started on Wheel of Fortune and why they always buy vowels just before they're going to solve the puzzle. Don't. But as we prep ourselves for Wheel of Fortune's next chapter, vowels and all, Vanna White went to see Ryan Seacrest at his other job. I mean, which one? He's got a zillion jobs, right? But she went to see him in action on American Idol because she's an Idol fan. So he invited her to go and intro one of the contestants. And then basically he got to see her in action. She goes to his work and he gets to see her in action. So what it prompted him to realize was what he said was that how lucky he is to be able to work with her on the upcoming Wheel. And what she had to say about him, I also enjoy. This is from when the news first came that she'd be staying on and that Ryan Seacrest would be the new host. she said what she liked is that he's professional, that he's good at what he does, and he's kind. And that, she thinks it's going to be good. At the time, she said, he's such a nice guy and he loves what he does. And he said, look, I'm not replacing Pat. I'm not going to try and fill Pat's shoes. No one can ever replace him. So here's just a guy who's coming to take on a new job, happens to, be the next chapter for what they call America's game. And seems to have his humility in check. So what I'm saying ultimately is that they will still buy vowels just before they're going to solve the puzzle.
It's okay. Deal with it.
I can't deal with it. Why are you wasting your money if you already know the answer?
But maybe they just want to be sure.
It costs money, Adam.
Yeah, but it's like buying an insurance. Sometimes it's a good idea to do it.
Always do it. So I think they're telling them to do it.
Oh,
I think Pat's got, maybe it's going to change once Pat leaves. He's be like, buy the vowel. You should buy the vowel.
Just an update also on this, because I don't think it was included in this article. Pat Sajak has filmed his last episode of Wheel of Fortune. He did so last week, I believe it is, or within the last 10 days of our recording. And I believe it will air June 7th, I think is Pat Sajak's final on-air extravaganza, but he has signed on to stay on as a consultant for 3 years. But I love that idea, but what are you consulting? Who?
The alphabet?
Ryan Seacrest knows what he's doing because he's a host of everything.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need that. And then the show to me is a well-oiled machine, so I'm not sure what he's going to consult on.
I think there's a few clips he can look back on. There's a few episodes Ryan can watch, right?
I just I don't know
a few of them.
I don't know if it's a golden parachute situation. I don't know, but
it's interesting because Vanna would be an okay consultant too, since she's been there for 1,000 years.
And it's not that I want Pat to go away. I really like Pat Sajak, but I just don't understand the consultant thing, because I could understand it more, I guess, if it was Jeopardy, where coming up with all those questions and because they're just that's such a thing. But to come up with puzzle words, I don't know.
Which I don't think Pat's involved in. I don't think he's the guy.
Because I think Alex Trebek was very involved in the questions and making sure, especially because he'd hosted for so long, he knew what was going to fly and what wasn't. So I think he was the final backstop for that. So
I loved seeing the behind the scenes of Jeopardy when a category, nobody got the answer in a particular category, and how that went down in the meeting after.
Yeah. Not
exactly well.
I was talking to a friend of mine who worked in it's called Le Tricheur. It's a French TV show. It's where there's trivia.
Oh, it's a game show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know how in those shows, you can't afford to have an answer where you to have a question where you don't have the right answer, or to where there could possibly be two possible answers to what you're asking, but you might not know both. So you're waiting for one answer. Someone else could say something else, and it would technically be a good answer. And for this show in Quebec, they were telling me every question goes through 6 rounds of approbations.
Wow.
So someone writes, I don't know, 100 questions. They send it over to round 2. They'll rewrite half of them. They'll get rid of 30, and then round 3, and then round 4, 5, and 6.
Whoa.
Crazy.
That's a vetting process, man. Wow.
And then in radio, we have 20 minutes to
write
ourselves 2 questions and pray for the best.
Yeah.
So I don't know how in Jeopardy how they manage those questions. Maybe they have more, maybe they have less, but I'd be curious to know how it all works out.
Yeah, they for sure have a team of people behind that. Just like a soap opera would have X amount of writers, they have all that stuff and those evening shows and everything. But yeah, it's really interesting how...
Yeah, but you can be silly when writing a soap opera or writing a TV show. When you're writing questions for a trivia show and there's money involved, you gotta have it right.
Yeah, you're right. And we've seen that on Jeopardy, where they go back and say, actually, the judges took your answer, and, they either win money or they realize you said something, you mispronounced something, and they take money away. So it's real nitpicky. And that's what I find funny. I mean, I accept that on Jeopardy because of how, how detailed the answers are and the questions are, or have to be. But when it comes down to a puzzle on Wheel of Fortune, where they have 4 answers and it all has it'll be blank ball. And you're It's like beach, bouncy. And you have to say the 4 different things. But Pat will always say, now don't add any other words. Just give the 4 answers. So at some point, that means that somebody got in trouble for saying beach, bouncy, and castle. So, because and's not in the puzzle. So that's how nitpicky they are.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Well, you got to be. The rules got to be clear.
Yeah.
I guess. But sheesh.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to the art world because it seems like a natural segue to jump from Wheel of Fortune, buying vowels, and the art gallery.
I'm listening.
And how impressive is Rocco Ritchie's art?
Very good.
Clearly talented, and clearly you can see that he got it from probably more his mother, but his father too, who happens to be artistic as well. But neat to see Madonna out supporting and showing love for her son, just how talented he is.
Yeah. I want her suit that she wore to his art display.
Yeah, smart suit.
And
she knows it.
For people listening and or watching right now, just Google like Madonna, like Rocco Ritchie's art display in Miami, and you'll see this killer green, like ladies' pantsuit that was clearly, made for her because it's like suction cup to her body. She looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing well.
Yeah, and I like his like the reasoning behind his display his showing was like it was like inspiration. Was it Muay Thai or something, or like it was like martial arts, right? That he was inspired by, and like his images are just like bananas. Like I can't draw a stick figure, so so good for you, Rocco Ritchie, who is already like 24. It's crazy, or he will be 24 this year. It's crazy.
He's good looking too. He's a good looking guy.
Yeah.
It's neat to see Madonna in as a mother, like we've seen it many times over the last, couple of decades and many kids. But she's so voguish when she's posing with the kids.
Yeah.
It's always very, she's giving good face as
it's
she
always
herself
very
sang.
Madonna.
Yeah, exactly. Very Madonna.
Is he the oldest son?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he still lives in London. And, so like, because when I think they were not getting along when he was like a middle-aged teenager, if I can put it like that, he went to stay with his dad. And he's just stayed there ever since, it sounds like London is his home. And, it's just, and I also appreciate that, because he did obviously have those turbulent teenage years, I think, the tail end of them or whatever. But it seems like he's really battened down and has a direction in life and, is heading off. And I think Madonna, because it sounds like she did the same thing with Lourdes, it's like, you have to earn your keep. So.
Well, yeah, you got, what are they going to do? Not earn their keep? Do you know what I mean? It sets them up for such a weird life if they don't have the chance to find out who they are as people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not everybody succeeds in doing so.
No, because
finding
actually it's so crazy.
themselves out, you mean?
Yeah, when you're coming from parents like Madonna or other.
True, but then you know that it's not news by the time they have to go and work and earn their keep. It's not a shock to them. I think that she and Guy Ritchie probably had a similar set of values as to how they were going to be, how they were when they were growing up. Like it.
Hopefully.
I think they look pretty settled.
Yeah.
But what do I know?
Not trivia.
Kelly. Oh my gosh. That was harsh.
That's my clip of the week.
Oh man. Hurtful. All right, you guys. You ready for your 90s rewind?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, funny, just like the CD-ROM, we're going back to 1998.
That's no Freddy the Frog there.
No, but there was Destiny's Child.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
how about that? No. Also, Shania Twain, You're Still the One. She's still singing that song. People are still selecting that for their wedding dance. It's just fantastic. You know what else they're selecting for a dance at the wedding? Getting Jiggy With It.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Kelly in the shoulder. Oh, Adam too.
Yeah.
Will Smith, y'all. And we spoke about Lance Bass before. Bah.
Are you
Yeah,
reenacting
pygmy
my
goat.
goat?
It's the
My
pygmy goat.
goat.
Yeah, Bass. Now we've got them all together with NSYNC, and I want you back. Couple
It's
more
like she's
for
right
you.
here.
It's like I'm goat yoga-ing all over you. Hey, The Verve were singing their Bittersweet Symphony at a time where they weren't earning any money off it at all. But now they've resolved the issue with it being sampled music from Rolling Stones, like, was it an elevator version of it? Anyways, it was a whole thing. They've settled it. The Verve are making money on Bittersweet Symphony, which turns out to be like this staple song from our favorite decade. And since I am a giver, I'm throwing in Janet's Together Again to round out your 90s rewind.
Excellent.
Nice.
Think about us together again.
That's the one.
There, you're welcome.
It's like she's here. Yeah. And just a programming note for any of our Janet fans that follow this show. She's going to be on the Drew Barrymore show, as Sharon sent me the clip. And did you see Drew Barrymore's face in that? Like, she
You
was...
see her fall to the ground?
Yeah. And it looked legit. Like, she looked legitimately... I don't think that was acting.
I don't think so either. I think Drew is very much in her life right now. I think she is feeling all the feels, all the reactions, all the experiences, and having Janet Jackson round the corner of her set and her slow-mo turning around and then collapsing to her knees, I think was legit. And Janet was like, hello.
Yeah.
It was super calm. I'm here.
You know what's funny is we had talked about that on the show last week when we were talking about Beyonce. And remember I had said to you guys, like, Janet knows that her aura is like she knows her vibe. And so she is aware of that enough to help people feel at ease because of that. So
Yeah, I do it too.
yeah. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to correct Adam on something from last week. So Adam gave me the gears last week when he said that I said Russian astronaut, but I checked and I said Russian cosmonaut in our trivia question last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So back on you, bucko.
Well, I was still right about cosmonauts being Russian, right?
You were, but I said that in the original question, so I wasn't misleading by any stretch.
All apologies to you, Kelly.
Thank you. I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
I love how she held on to it for like a week.
Yeah. Actually, only
I'm
about
going to call him.
Only about 2 days because I was listening to our show driving home from work the other day, and I was like, oh, I was right. Okay.
I'll wait and tell him.
I'll wait till we talk. Yeah.
Well, that's all, you guys. We have done it once again. Thank you to everybody for finding us wherever it is that you do that. We appreciate it, and passing on the G-dub that we're fun to be with. G-dub, by the way, is a good word.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to 90s Now, still happening.